You know, to be Irish over here is a special feeling. We turn up and you're celebrating our national holiday, St. Patrick's Day. It's amazing. And we're like, look at the spirit. These people are all getting involved. And then we realise, hold on a minute. Are they calling it St. Patty's Day? Patty is a woman's name. Patty, spelled P-A-T-T-Y. We have Paddy, our patron saint, P-A-D-D-Y. You can't just go all Bruce Jenner on our patron saint. Wouldn't do that to you. Could you imagine? You just turned up in Ireland and you're like, hey guys, what are you celebrating? This looks like a really good time. And we're like, oh yeah, it's a big day here. We're celebrating Martin Luther King Day. Just one little typo there and I would have turned one of the greatest leaders in history into a lesbian tennis player. One little letter, big difference there, right? And then I really home in on it, and I'm like, wait a minute, does it say Happy St. Patty's Day in a 4-leaf clover? What, it has, you know, those green things with the sides on 4-leaf clover, 4 leaves? Lovely. I mean, it looks nice, but it's got nothing to do with Ireland. We love a good shamrock, very central to Irish culture, 3 sides to a shamrock. 4-leaf clover, nothing to do with Ireland. That's the equivalent of me getting a tattoo on my arm of a pigeon and being like, go America. Be a bit random, wouldn't it? Such a difference. I do be trying to get into your American sports over here. You guys are amazing at sports. In the last 2 Olympics, just for consistency, in each of them, you won 46 Olympic gold medals. 46! And look at you. Not a single person cares about that. Not even a mild reaction. Like, if Ireland won 46 gold medals, I'd be still drunk in a field somewhere. Do you know how many we won? Do you know? You've been a structural engineer your whole life. You'll be good with numbers. How many do you think we won?
3.
3. I love the positivity. Good. No. We won 1. And that was for women's boxing. Woke as feck. It's funny when you get the citizenship and you become an American, but people always still ask you, especially when you come over here who have also gone through the same experience. We're like, but how did you really get here? How did you get the green card? How did that all come to pass? How did you become an American? And it takes a bit of explaining, but and the conversation I had that led to it, I would love to do that kind of accent for you, but I'm so nervous doing any form of accents in America at the moment. It's just one of those times, isn't it? Like, if you do a bad job at impersonating an accent, you're a racist. But if you do a good job, you're multilingual. That's a fine line to be walking, isn't it? But I met this girl, and I don't want to put a country on her for you to say it, but she was it was like the Republic of Coachella meets Burning Man, as a certain type of individual, you know, and the enthusiasm was just dripping off her, you know. It was the equivalent of a Trader Joe's worker at a checkout, you know. You know that moment where they just unnecessarily lock eyes with you and try and emotionally connect with you over the contents of your basket? Have you had this? Where they're like, oh my gosh, sir, this organic arugula cranberry snacking chocolate, divine. And what? And they sense like a false human connection between the two of you, a kinship that isn't really there. And they just lean in, take it even further. They're like, do you ever get really stoned on the weekend? Just cover your body in aloe vera and eat it out of your underpants? Do you do that? You're like, no, I don't, Carl. No. And they're like, do you have any plans for this weekend? You're like, oh yeah, I'm going to take me and you and put some serious distance between us. Yeah, but anyway, so I got chatting to this girl, and we always get asked the same question when we come to America. It's always, what do you do? And it sounds weird just because we're always used to, where are you from? Where's that accent from? What's your name? We'd never start off with, what do you do? And this girl, straight away, she's like, so what do you do? And I didn't want to tell her, you know, and she sensed this, in fairness to her. So she's like, you don't want to tell me about you? Fine, let me tell you about me. What? And there was an audible disappearance of wind from this room as this lady opened her lungs to fill them to capacity. To facilitate an amount of unsolicited information. Right, and she just locks eyes with me. She's like, well, I graduated like 4-point GPA, Kappa Delta Gamma Stanford University, and I used to run track there until I got a little bit out of shape. I started drinking a lot. I think it was my Irish genes. Yeah, I just found out I'm like 17%. And then when I was growing up, my mom used to spank me. She said it was in a loving way, but I never felt it was in a loving way. So I developed a slight dependency on Adderall, actually a very large dependency on Adderall. But then I found Tony Robbins and The Power Within. I just really changed. I took a chance and I bought a ticket to Burning Man where my playa name was Space Fart, and I did mushrooms and ayahuasca for the first time. It was a totally enlightening experience. I came back and I managed to get a job with a private equity firm where I have a solid but diversified 401k plan. I really focus on the foods I put in with my body, a lot more arugula, gazpacho, and spinach. I started to do yoga therapy where I just bend over and do downward dog and I cry. I just let it all out emotionally. I managed to wean off the Adderall, not totally. I still take one in a while. And lastly, I became a vegan. To be honest, I don't have the energy to walk, but spiritually, I can fly. Hey, did you know that Dry Bar Comedy has their own app? Download it right now to watch, save, and share clips and watch my whole special.